Hello aviators and prospective aviators. This is Dr. Cole Weatherby coming at you from Broomfield, Colorado now. Recently moved my practice up here from Austin, Texas, and have settled into my new home here at Rocky Mountain Metro Airport at the Signature FBO. So if you're in the Denver metro area and you need a medical or you need some case management or consultation about anything aviation medicine related, especially aviation psychiatry, please hit me up. You can find me online, denverame.com. Or moontowerwellness.com is the website for my psychiatric practice. So today I'm coming to you with some new guidelines the FAA has put out about mental health. So this is kind of a groundbreaking major change for the FAA and really an indication that they're interested in updating the guidelines for mental health to be more inclusive and more helpful for AMEs and for pilots. So I'm going to go through what this new guideline looks like. So on May 29th, AMEs awoke to log into the system and find out that there had been some significant updates to the AME guide. This is the document that describes basically how the FAA approaches every medical condition. And one of the major updates was this. So the Uncomplicated Anxiety, Depression, and Related Conditions disposition table. So it's kind of the table that AMEs use to decide what to do when you have certain medical history. And then also a decision tool for AMEs to use so that we're able to issue medical certificates on the spot for some mental health histories. So I'm going to go through the details of what these new guidelines involve, and hopefully that can help you find out if it's going to be helpful for you or not. These new guidelines are going to help some people. There's also going to be a lot of people where the guidelines don't apply and they aren't that helpful, but I think anything is better than nothing, and there's really every indication that this is where it starts with the FAA. You know, the lead psychiatrist at the FAA seems very determined. The federal air surgeon seems to be supportive about updating some of these guidelines and also thinning out the case burden that the FAA has, because they have found that a lot of these cases that they have to spend significant amounts of time reviewing, really it's not worth the effort. The effort that they're putting into reviewing a lot of these cases is really just not worth it in terms of improving safety. So that's really what's driving these changes. Okay, so let's dig into these requirements. If you have had no psychiatric medication in the past 2 years and you were only ever treated with one medication at a time, then there are a number of conditions where if you have that condition, it's stable, you've been fine for 2 years or more, then the AME is going to be able to issue. So let's talk through what those conditions are. And there's really three groups. The first is anxiety disorders, and these include generalized anxiety disorder, situational anxiety, social anxiety, and anxiety disorder unspecified. So if you have a history of any of those, you're going to be able to utilize this new tool to get your medical issue. There's also some depression diagnoses. These include postpartum depression, situational depression or adjustment disorders, or depression unspecified or depressive disorder unspecified. And then finally, there's kind of a catch-all category called other that includes OCD, PTSD, and a number of what they call V codes, which are really related to stressors. So if you're going through something related to the loss of a loved one and you're going through bereavement, or you have major relationship distress, problems in your marriage or relationship that's causing a lot of stress for you or anxiety, parent-child relational problems, phase of life problem related to like some major change that's going on in your life. So if you have a history of any of those things, there's a chance you're going to be eligible for medical issuance from your AME without having to go through a deferred medical. There's some other requirements, so let's talk about those. So you can't have had any other diagnosis. So I mentioned the ones that are acceptable. Those are the only ones that are acceptable. So if you have a history of bipolar unspecified or a substance use history or anything like that, then you're not going to be able to use this new protocol. You cannot have ever had suicidal ideation, suicide attempts, or any kind of self-harm behavior like cutting, hair pulling, burning, that sort of thing. If you have any of that history, you don't qualify for this. you can never have been involuntarily hospitalized or treated. So no court-ordered treatment and no hospitalizations at all. So no history of psychiatric hospitalization. And no more than one episode. So if you've had any recurrent episodes of anxiety or depression or any of these other things, then you're not going to qualify for issuance under this new guideline. And then you can't have any unresolved sequelae, so no ongoing symptoms that are significant enough to interfere with safety-related activities when it comes to flying. So if you meet those criteria and you talk things over with your AME, and they don't have any concerns about you, they are able to issue you a medical certificate, first, second, third class, doesn't matter, on the spot. And that should be the end of it. You know, the FAA has said it's their expectation that we do not request additional information in these cases. That remains to be seen. You know, that's not necessarily what they've done with some of these other decision tools. Typically after the AME issues, they will send a letter requesting more information, and then sometimes the airman has to go through additional steps, to get additional evaluations and stuff like that to satisfy those FAA requests. But it's their intention that that is not the case with this guideline. So technically, you don't have to show the AME any documentation. You just have to talk over your history with them, and as long as they feel comfortable, they will issue you a medical and describe your history to the FAA. Hopefully that helps you get a feel for these new guidelines about uncomplicated mental health issues. And I really hope that it's going to help a lot of people. That kind of remains to be seen. The guidelines are narrow in some areas, and I know there's going to be a lot of people excluded from this. And for those people, you still have to go through the same process as always, where your AME defers your case, and then you submit all the information they request. So, like I said, hopefully it's going to help a lot of people out, and we will see how it all unfolds. Thanks a lot for watching today, and please let me know how I can be helpful for you. If you could please send me your questions, I would love that. You can do that in the comments below or to the email address in the description, and I will do my best to get your questions answered on the channel. Thank you so much. Take care.